See, a scenario straight out of a wild dream. But reality has once again outdone fiction. Lewis Hamilton has left Mercedes. The most dominant driver of Formula One's hybrid era made the decision no one saw coming. But in hindsight, it makes perfect sense. After more than a decade with the team that delivered 6 of his 7 world titles, Hamilton saw what many refused to admit. Mercedes was no longer the dominant force, and they no longer had the car to let him fight Red Bull for the championship. The 8th crown, the one that would put him above Michael Schumacher in the history books, felt like an impossible dream in Brackley. And once Hamilton realized that, he made the boldest move possible. Now, the 7-time world champion is embarking on a new chapter in his career, dressed in the iconic Ferrari red. This isn't just another transfer. It's a seismic shift in the world of Formula One, a move that reshapes the sport as we know it. His arrival at Maranello is like a superhero switching sides, a plot twist no one saw coming but everyone is eager to witness. The million-dollar question is whether this high-risk gamble will pay off for a driver who has built his legacy on stability and continuity. Can Hamilton rise again and return Ferrari to its former glory? Or more importantly, can Ferrari give Hamilton the car he needs to write the final chapter of his story with a world championship? Hamilton's statistics at Mercedes are simply absurd. In 12 seasons with the Silver Arrows, he claimed 6 world titles, 84 victories, 153 podiums, and 78 pole positions in 246 races. Numbers that, for any other driver, would be the pinnacle of a dream career. But for Hamilton, the story isn't finished. Now, at 40 years old, he faces the greatest challenge of his career, replicating that success at a team that hasn't won a driver's title since 2007. The pressure is immense, expectations are through the roof, and critics are waiting for him to fail. But if there's one thing we know about Lewis, it's that he is most dangerous when the world starts doubting him. Hamilton's arrival at Ferrari hasn't gone unnoticed by anyone in the paddock. Within weeks, his signing became the #1 talking point at every circuit, every interview, and every analyst discussion. The entire F1 world is watching, and even his fellow drivers have given their opinions on the biggest move in recent years. Lando Norris, one of the sport's rising stars and a potential title contender in 2025, hasn't hidden his excitement about the opportunity to go wheel-to-wheel with Hamilton in his new Ferrari colors. "I'm more excited than ever to go up against Hamilton this year. It's always an honor to race against someone like him, and it motivates me even more. I want to prove myself against him." Obviously, he wants to prove himself as well. And one thing that's certain is that Lewis will never stop trying until the day he retires from F1, Norris said on This Morning, a British TV show on ITV. His move to Ferrari is an incredible story. After everything he's accomplished, I think it's great that he took this step in his career. A lot of people have said it might not be the right move, but if I were in his shoes, I probably would have done the same. I think it's an incredible story for him, and I know he's going there with a fresh mindset. He'll want to show everyone that he's still the same Lewis Hamilton who dominated for so many years, the McLaren star concluded. But Norris isn't the only one who believes Hamilton made the right call. Valtteri Bottas, who spent 5 seasons as Hamilton's teammate at Mercedes and knows firsthand what it's like to compete against the 7-time champion, also thinks the change of scenery might be exactly what Hamilton needs to rediscover his best form. Lewis is incredibly motivated this year. It's something new and refreshing for him. Moving to Ferrari could give him extra motivation and bring out the best in him. I'm also really excited to see how his battle with Charles Leclerc plays out, the Finnish driver told Sky Sports. Bottas, who will serve as Mercedes' reserve driver in 2025, analyzed the landscape of the upcoming season and believes the title fight will be wide open. "It's going to be really exciting, that's for sure. On paper, the gaps at the front will be very small. We might see 4 or 5 teams fighting for victories. It's very hard to predict what will happen, which is great for the fans and for the sport. The first few races will give us a better idea, but as we saw last year, small margins make a huge difference. If a team finds an edge, it changes everything. Of course, I hope Mercedes can be in the title fight because that's everyone's goal here," Bottas added. And while some drivers believe Hamilton can thrive at Ferrari, others, like Bernie Ecclestone, are far more skeptical. The former F1 boss made it clear that he doesn't see Hamilton lasting long in Maranello. "Hamilton won't last 2 years at Ferrari," Ecclestone bluntly stated, suggesting that tensions within the team and the immense pressure from the Tifosi could be too much for the seven-time world champion. Gerhard Berger, however, has a completely different take. If Ferrari wins a title with Hamilton, it will be the biggest marketing event in F1 history, the Austrian former driver said, acknowledging the monumental impact of Lewis winning a championship in red. Johnny Herbert, meanwhile, believes Hamilton's success will depend entirely on whether Ferrari can give him a competitive car. If Ferrari gives him a fast car, Hamilton can win another world championship, the former driver and current F1 analyst stated. Opinions are divided, but what no one can deny is that Hamilton's move to Ferrari has turned the 2025 season into an unmissable spectacle. The question now isn't just whether Lewis can take the throne with Ferrari, but whether the Scuderia has finally built a car capable of ending Red Bull's dominance. Hamilton's move to Ferrari isn't just the biggest driver transfer in recent memory. It's the kind of seismic event that shifts the entire power balance in Formula One. The sport has been dominated by Red Bull and Max Verstappen in recent years, but suddenly, there's a new wildcard in play. Ferrari, a team that has spent the last decade swinging between flashes of brilliance and catastrophic failures, now has one of the greatest drivers of all time in its corner. And with that, the narrative of the 2025 season has shifted from "Can anyone stop Red Bull?" to "Can Hamilton bring Ferrari back to the top?" But this isn't just about Hamilton against Red Bull. This is about Hamilton against time. At 40 years old, he's well aware that the window for an eighth title isn't open forever. That's why this move to Ferrari isn't just about nostalgia or fulfilling a childhood dream. It's about unfinished business. About proving that he's still the best driver on the planet. About etching his name into history as the first man to win titles with 3 different teams in the modern era. The challenge, however, is monumental. Ferrari is a team that, for all its prestige, has been a self-sabotaging machine for years. They've had race-winning cars before, but their downfall has often been poor strategy, inconsistent decision-making, and a chronic inability to execute under pressure. If Ferrari is going to win with Hamilton, they need to break that cycle. They need to be as ruthless, efficient, and precise as Red Bull. They need to take a 7-time world champion and give him the tools to do what he does best: win. Inside the Ferrari garage, there's another battle brewing, one that could define the season just as much as the fight against Red Bull. Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's golden boy, isn't just going to step aside and let Hamilton take the spotlight. He's spent years waiting for Ferrari to build him a championship-winning car, and now, just as they might finally be close, he has to share the garage with one of the most decorated drivers in F1 history. The potential for fireworks is enormous. Leclerc knows this is the biggest challenge of his career. If he beats Hamilton in equal machinery, it cements him as the future of Ferrari and proves he belongs among the sport's elite. If he loses, it could completely shift his standing within the team and the sport. And Ferrari, a team that has historically struggled to manage 2 competitive drivers, now has to navigate this internal rivalry while trying to dethrone Red Bull. Meanwhile, F1